Hi guys, I took a trip to my grandma's and she sent me home with some things. So come see what she sent me home with. Almost every time I visit my grandma, she gives me something sweet. If you remember, she gave me one of the best Christmas gifts I could have asked for, which was a lot of family heirlooms and some vintage items that meant a lot to her. She knows that I am very nostalgic and I love vintage items, so she sent me home with some. I'm gonna start with my favorite item that she sent me, and it is this toothpick holder. She had asked me if I was interested in having it because she had already offered it to my dad and my uncle, and they both didn't want it. So, of course, she didn't have to ask me twice. It was a definite yes. As you know, I have thrifted a couple of toothpick holders, but I love this one particularly. Look at the gold detailing on it. And do you want to hear the sweetest part? It is my great aunt Goldie's. Isn't that so cute? Her name was Golda, but they called her Goldie, and I will just absolutely never forget that because of the gold detailing. I did show my grandma a picture of my trinket shelf. I don't know that she was particularly impressed, because to her, these things aren't really vintage. They're just things that she has. But she appreciates it. And so she sent me home with a thimble that came from kind of her bonus great grandma. She had a great grandma and an older woman who lived with her family. So this is Hattie's, and she said it was one of her thimbles that she had kept, and that, it's just an old thimble, but it means a lot to our family. So I'm going to put that on my trinket shelf. Next, my son was digging through the mud while we were down there, and he brought up an old insulator, kind of a silly item. It had wires sticking out of it. It was covered in mud, and I just kind of laughed it off. I said, go give it to me. I'm going to clean it up, and I'll put it on my trinket shelf just because it's, an old porcelain insulator, which I did wash. You really can't tell. So when my grandpa saw me cleaning up this old insulator, I think he thought I was a little crazy, but he went to get one of these, which are just the most beautiful insulators, 1920s, and I think it's for the telephone. Don't mark my word on that. Maybe this one's for telephones. Not sure. I'm sure you guys will let me know. But I cleaned this one up, and so I'm gonna put this with the rest of my glass, and I am gonna still keep this one and still put it on my trinket shelf. So those are the items that I brought home, and I love that these two have a very special meaning, and I will treasure them. Thanks for stopping by.